Hello, happy Monday. I hope everyone had an amazing weekend. I have been scrolling through some groups that I'm in, and I thought it would be time for another girl talk. I was very interested and inspired by a common theme that I've seen in some military spouse groups with younger ladies, and we all have kind of a similar question or a similar thought process, and I really thought that I would come here and just speak to that today. So, cold as usual. We have an issue with control. Most of us do anyway. So I'm seeing a lot of questions regarding what's going to happen in the future. This is what we're being told. What did you do? How do I deal with this? That line of questioning, which is completely normal. There's nothing wrong with that. Especially when you're new, you don't know what to expect in this life and you want to do your best to prepare. I don't think there's anything wrong with preparation. I'm the same way. Now, along those same lines, there is a point where you can kind of obsess over this need to prepare for things. And honestly, there are some things that you can't prepare for. In this life, in this military life, obviously plans change. A lot of times plans change at the last minute. Not only that, but things could have been going the same way at one duty station, and then you go to a different duty station, they're completely different, and it's completely out of your control. If you are long distance from your service member, you can't control what his schedule is. You can't control whether or not he's available to talk to you, or if you're able to go visit him. Like, there's so many things that you can't control, which oftentimes will cause frustration in us, in the spouses or the girlfriends. And when we're frustrated, we want to give up. And that's what I see a lot of happening in the groups that I'm in with these young ladies who are venting to the group just about things that are out of their control. And I just kind of wanted to advise on that. The biggest thing that I've learned over the years when it comes to dealing with things that you can't control is you need to, first of all, relinquish that control, because there's nothing you can do about it other than obsess over it and cause yourself frustration and cause your service member frustration too, because they don't want to hear that either. But more importantly, focus on the things that you do have control over. And there are a few things I want to go into here. When it comes to communication with your service member, if they're long distance or they're deployed, if you guys are dating and you don't live together, things like that, a big thing to focus on is your reaction to things. And it's really hard. It takes a lot of practice. I would say it's a learned skill to have control over the way you react, because it's a reaction, it's reflex almost. When things don't go our way, the way that react, it happens automatically. But if we can gain control over our reaction to those situations, that is going to alleviate a lot of the frustration and a lot of the stress. So if you're having a difficult conversation with them, and it's long distance, say you're emailing back and forth, something like that, you need to watch the way that you react to things. And it's hard, but once you learn that skill, you will feel a lot more in control. You can't control when he's going to email you back or what his words are, but you can control the way that you react, and there is strength in that. Next, you can control your routine. So if you have a pattern of a certain time that you get up in the day, if you go to the grocery store certain days, just simple things like that. If you have a cleaning routine, if you have children and you have a certain time of day that they do their chores or their homework, a certain time that you prepare for dinner, that is something that you can control. So even if your spouse deploys, or if his schedule changes suddenly and he's in and out, there's nothing you can do about that. But you can control the routine that you have at home, and there's power in that. Like there's a lot of stability that you can gain from maintaining a specific routine from day to day, or from season to season, as the case may be. And I found that really helpful, especially like around the holidays when things start getting really crazy. Trying to maintain a schedule as best you can. It's not perfect, especially not in my house. It's not perfect, but being able to control that can kind of alleviate some of the stress from the outside. So even if your service member's schedule is insane, you still have the stability of maintaining your schedule. Along those same lines, you can maintain your own home. Most of us, I'm assuming, are homemakers. If you're following me, you probably are interested in that sort of thing. Otherwise, you would probably think that what I do is silly. But even if you work part-time, I'm assuming that you are primarily responsible for your home, especially if your service member is active duty. He's probably gone an awful lot. So you have control over what happens in your house. And I mean that from the simple things to how you decorate it, what color your curtains are, to the food that's prepared and the way that your home feels. Is it cozy? Is it inviting? Is it peaceful? I have 5 kids. My home isn't always quiet, but there's peace. There's not excess of fighting and strife between us. The aromas when you walk in, like, does it smell like a place where you want to be? Just things like that, things that when you think of your home, the things that pop into your mind, you are in control of that. And that's a big deal, because this is where everyone retires at the end of the day. This is where the peace should be for your family. So you have control over your family, but over your home. There's a lot of strength in that, and a really good way to alleviate the stress. Make sure your home is a place of peace. That is something you can control. Next, you have control over your relationships, not the people you're in a relationship with, but if you have a friend that you want to spend time with, make yourself available to spend time with that friend. The same with your parents. Again, you can't control your parents. I don't want to assume anybody's relationship, with their parents, but you have the ability to nurture those relationships. That is something you can control. If you want to spend more time talking with your siblings or cousins, whatever the case may be, your neighbors, that is something that you can control. And having good relationships with other people outside of your spouse is a really, really good thing, especially considering how crazy their schedules are in their lives, and you don't know if he's going to be here next month, or how things change. It's good to nurture those relationships. That is something you can control. And last but not least, your hobbies. You have control over the things that you spend your time doing. So if you enjoy crafting, it's a good idea to hone in on that when you can. I like to take an hour a day and work on the things that I enjoy. I like baking. I like writing. So those are things that I make sure that I spend time doing. I like decorating my home. A lot of my hobbies kind of go around homemaking because that's my thing. But whatever you enjoy doing, self-care is what people call it. I tend to shy away from that word just because I feel like if we overindulge in self-care, then you're kind of just spending time on yourself instead of others, which I like to focus on. But it is important to remember your hobbies, remember the things that make you feel good, remember the things that you enjoy. That is something you can control. And if you spend time doing those things and building yourself up, then you feel more prepared to go out into the world and deal with all the other stuff that are out of your control. So I hope that was helpful for somebody. This life is crazy, y'all, but we're in it together, and I'm just here to remind you that you can't control everything, but there are some things that we do have control over, and make sure that you're really harnessing those things for yourself so that you can be the best military spouse or girlfriend you can be.